in between. So this whole supply chain, okay, number one, we've got to determine, do we need 5 gates from the oil landing and getting to the petrol station? Do we need 4 or 5 gates? Do you understand, as we currently have? Maybe we need to take out some of the gatekeepers. Maybe we just need 2, and then that will improve the price. Then you need to know at each level, how much profit margin, do you understand, is the next marketer putting, you understand, how much does he buy it? How much?
All this before we eventually do away with subsidy, if at all we will.
We can do this again in 3 months, 2 months. It's not a secret how much oil should land, because we know how much the refineries sell these things. We know your CIF, all these things, all the shipping costs and all the insurance and all the other things.
But what about what they say?
It shouldn't be a mystery. The NMPC self-imports.
Yeah, the price modulation policy, if we could call it that, does it work for you in terms of what they say they want to do?
Look, everything can work. These are just nomenclatures. You can call it anything you want. The key thing is, are you sincere? Are you working in the best interest of the country, of the economy of the country? Do you understand? And is somebody out there willing to implement, enforce, and be bloody-faced about it? So
is that subjecting it completely to the forces of demand and supply?
Forget it. Again, you see, thank you. You've just given me a good example of the lies I talk about. In Nigeria, there's a pretense that we run a normal economic structure, that market forces and the price of, the forces of demand and price. No. In Nigeria, everything you pay for, including the box of matches, is 30% market forces. The price has been determined for you, 30% by market forces, 70% by greed and speculation forces. Why don't we admit this? Look, there is nothing in Nigeria that you buy.
In almost everything?
I'll give you an example. ECOWAS is a customs-free union, whatever, that you should be able to move goods and things. Well, try any of our borders and see how free it is. Okay? So when you're bringing stuff in, and then from between Seme and, I don't know, Lasso, you have been stopped 50 times, and at every turn you are putting money. Who do you think is going to pay that money? You pass it on to the consumer. Do you understand? And I can give you an endless list of just about land, real estate, property. Nigeria is the only place where you are paying premium for low quality, low life, everything. You go into some estates surrounded by slum, you go there, they tell you a plot of land is 100 million. What for? Why? What is the economic rationale for that? There's too much greed, manipulation, influence peddling embedded in the structure of our pricing in this country. And that's why you also see reflected in government, why everything is 3 times costed.
Let me pick up on something you said about ECOWAS. That policy that ECOWAS has, where it's supposed to be free trade across ECOWAS countries, is it really helping us? Because if you have, look at all that what is said about rice. We have a policy today, it changes tomorrow, and then what comes through Benin Republic in terms of the cars, the rice. And now we know that, we understand, I think they say Moet has a factory in Cameroon. So a lot of what comes into this country, the Forex, is serviced in Cameroon.
Oh, yes. Look, again, we're asking, I'm sorry, but the wrong question. ECOWAS, the Free Customs Union, should be helping us, 4 cylinders.
But is it?
Well, it's not, precisely because we are not producing in the local economy. I said the other time, our economy, to use a very nice word, to be nice about it, should have been heavily integrated within the West African economy. In fact, what we're complaining that anybody is doing to us is what they should be complaining we are doing to them. But because, and that is one of the, if you like, that's one of the impacts we are feeling now. Again, we wouldn't admit it. That is because this is a cumulative effect. There's all this huge corruption, the stolen money and everything. But what we are undergoing right now is the cumulative effect of 4 decades of simply bad policy. Macro fiscal policy, macro, everything. industrial policy.
So some governments will not want to be, I mean, as you rightly said, every government says, I did right by my people, I did right for this country. And perhaps if you look at it, in some areas, you could say, well, in this area, yes, they did something right. In this area, maybe they did something right. But that's not, maybe that's not the question, because we're actually in dire straits right now. Despite all that has been done, we're almost on our knees, as it were. The question will be, are you seeing any chance of us getting out of it through the budget or any other policy that government has put out there?
I think, like I was saying, there should be immediately now policy sort of steps, and I've enumerated some of them, okay? Like even in government now, efficiency unit. You see, there is an area where we're all still not talking about enough. Mm-hmm. And that is going back into government spending and pricing and taking out all those toxic overpricing, overinflation that is there. I believe, just off the cuff, I believe that if we really want to take a tooth comb and slice through, if we want to drill deep into the logic, into the why, where to, for, of government spending on itself and buying services and everything, we can still, I believe, from current spending levels by government, I believe we can still make up to 30 to 40% savings. It's because we're not doing it. When this new government came in and this whole talk about reducing the cost of governance, you know what many of them did? They quickly said, we won't collect our salary, and everybody goes to sleep. That is not where the problem is coming from.
How much is the salary?
How much do you award that road contract, which is on the average in Nigeria 4 or 5 times per kilometer? You know. How much do you buy those services? How many people are doing what unit of work? And you pay for them. You understand? You are going to look at a place. A large number of them have disappeared into, you know, I like the head of the police, or somebody was saying the other time, Michael Kiro, chairman of the Police Service Commission, that they are now going to stop, you know, policemen and women following VIPs around and carrying bags and umbrellas and things like this. And then you say there are not enough police for manning, you know, security and things like that. And you pay more money to get more police when you are not using the ones you have.
It boils down to accountability, some of what you've just highlighted, and it also boils down to what we've been able to save and how best to use them. You also talked about the subsidy, which is one good thing that some Nigerians have said this government has done, and with the ease with which they even get the petroleum product asset now. No one, I think they need to give them some couple of time to see if this can be sustained. So all of those gains, all those monies, you also mentioned TSA that has been there until someone came and we started. We've been able to also get some, plug some loopholes, some leakages, and you put the subsidy matter. Do you think that can as well put us, side by side with what is happening in the oil market, the drop in oil price? Have we been able to plug enough of these leakages to save up to the extent that we can get to do some of these things that we want to do for the year 2016 in the budget?
No, we have not. The federal government is making the most move, and they should be commended. They've not done enough, but they are moving in the right direction. Efficiency units has been set up within the federal government now to sort of, and I like the breakdown. They want to reduce overhead by this amount. They want to reduce that one, and everything. Great. But you have 36 governments out there spending, Because, see, make no mistakes about it. For 4 decades, but especially the last 3 decades or 2.5 decades, this abnormal pricing structure, this abnormal cost structure, this toxic cost structures have been so heavily embedded in the way government spends. So it's become normal. So they defend those levels of spending. I'm saying if somebody came from space and went in and was applying strict logic and honesty, this is how much you need for this. Why do you use 10 people here instead of 3? Why, and things. I'm saying you can still save another 30.
Don't forget we have the office of the due process office.
Yes, even the internal audit. That's what the internal audit should be doing in every MDA. Go and see whether they do it. Look, why does all this big money go out, all these figures we hear, if somebody is doing something? And it shows that people collect budgets way, way, way above what they need. And this has become a part of the structure. So people don't even see anymore that we can reduce this. And I'm saying, still go back.
As a development economist, what did you make of the CBN governors or the CBN statement released only a couple of days ago, talking about how they have asked BDCs to go and source their own dollars and a host of other policies? Do you think it actually eases pressure of the naira?
We're beginning again there to move in the right direction. You see, what we've done over the years is to flood the Nigerian economic space with far too much naira. We print naira every time to support the dollars we have got from oil sale, okay? And that goes into the banking system, it goes everywhere. It goes more into the up end of the economy. You talk to the ordinary people, they say there is no naira, there is no money in town. And that is true. The money really doesn't even get to the bottom of the pyramid economy. It's hanging there from the middle up, okay? And there's too much money that is running around. That's the truth. Persistent devaluation of the naira by overprinting it. Again, over the last 2 decades plus, right? Tell the Bureau de Change people to go and look for their money. Don't let the central bank devalue naira by printing, by changing dollars and things.
Which is what they've done to the Bureau to Change people.
Precisely. So now they are saying, you know what? But it's not enough to say we won't sell to you. I think they should go deeper by stopping the reckless printing of naira and trying to mop as many of it while allowing the ones that should trickle to the bottom of the pyramid. Because look, we need millions, the economy of the millions. We need that economy to be very active at the foundational level of the economy. It's the one that is going to lift the middle economy and that will impact the top economy. But we're doing it the other way and we're better off creating 3 million, 10 million more ordinary millionaires than the next billionaire.
Mr. Bolaji Ogunseye is a development economist. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it does appear we are... All right, we'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.